This is the most horrible point. Now we are just before the dress rehearsal. I can change little things, and then they make the run through, and this is the point where I start to become nervous, because my active role is to end forever for this piece.
You know, I've done enough premieres now to know the preparation process well enough. My slight concern with this one was having two soloists, but no worries at all. They work so well as a team. Their understanding of one another is very clear. It's like working with one player.
I spent a few days now just working through. We don't have performing parts yet, so we've been working off the full score, which has actually been wonderful to try and work out some of the orchestrations and try and hear some of it in our heads.
I mean, you really have a true sense of just a blank canvas in that way. I mean, we're probably the first pianist to look at the music even. We won't actually hear how the orchestra sounds until the day before the concert. Yeah. So I've never been in that position before as a musician. So that's really exciting. But is A natural in the right hand?
Yes. But we're going to meet him now in Hanover in a month's time. Then we've got a month after that until the concert. So I think it's a nice setup. It's a nice time frame, you know. We have some parts, which is great, and we have a cadenza. So we've just been, working through, trying to get to know the piece really. And we are just about to work for the first time with Detlef on the piece.
Probably a tenth of the day, but... Okay, no problem about that, but only to have the gesture. Sure, yeah, okay. Yeah. So how... Okay.
We came through the piece, what is a lot, we did it 2 times through the piece. I got a very clear imagine what I have to change on these 3 little things, and I had the impression also that the 2 boys got an impression what I thought in that piece, as the direction in which we work is now clearer.
Oh really?
Yes.
Ah. Then so short?
It's just, yes, short.
Yeah.
Fine.
I mean, it's very much a work in progress for us still. It's a long way from being a kind of finished, polished performance. So it's very useful for us actually at this stage to get his input.
Perfect. That's the finest thing you can have. They are so open-minded and absolutely, let's say, no artistic arrogance. They are open for composers' wishes, and they are so practical, absolutely quick gentlemen, and they are great artists too. Not to forget that.
Oh, crikey, Detlef's such a fine and experienced composer. He knows how to notate what he wants. There were very few corrections that he sent through a few weeks ago. I got a small list of things, and really I had very few questions.
I think it's very impressive the way that he's dealt with the whole thing with 2 pianos. He hasn't just kind of lumped us together and created a massive great noise. There's no need when all the orchestra are playing anyway. He's really thought about the roles of the 2 instruments and used them in a very interesting way.
Concertos for one soloist, and normally the soloist has a dominant role because he is the individual against the orchestra. And doubling the individual means to have a completely new position, a new sensation, because other coalitions are possible. Two soloists against the orchestra, one soloist against the orchestra and the other soloist, and so on and so on. So the game with these three positions is quite more open and more variations are possible.
It's not something that I've seen so much in even in other double concertos. You know, there's a real dialogue between us, and there's a dialogue with the orchestra, and all of those elements fit together to create something quite unique, I think. You know, the whole reason for doing this in the first place was that this would be a piece that would be there in the repertoire forever. So it is important to us that there is a future in it as well.
Go over my desk. Okay. We're all going together. Yeah? Oh yeah. I'll just look in the background. No. So.
There remains always a risk if you give a commission to a new composition, because you don't know what is coming out. And of course you must trust, and of course it can end worse. It can end also bad, like the music history shows to us in several cases. But in this case I have the very good feeling that we trusted each other in the totally right point. And let's see what is coming out tonight.
I'm so happy that we went with someone whose music that we really did feel a connection with. I mean, obviously Detlef has a huge career, particularly in Germany, but all that aside, it felt like when we came down to making the choice, it was because his music had an instant, connection with us, and I think that's been the best decision we made.
I'm so happy. What an experience. Even concentrating. Yeah. There happened something this to us after the dress rehearsal.
That you know works quite right. Yeah, something you're aware of. Yeah.
I had a real. I wanted to say once in my life. Yeah.
Always silence, get the tunes and stuff. Exactly.